So we've just had the London Marathon here, and a bit like training for the marathon, I think you need to train your skin for winter. Now, that's because winter skin can mean dull, dry, tight skin with flaky patches, and it may even mean it interferes with your ability to do your regular actives-based skincare routine. So here's 5 hacks for getting your skin winter fit. The first thing you can do is to eat for a healthy skin barrier. And of course, because this is a nutritional thing, you need to do this well ahead of the time. Now, eating for skin health and skin hydration is far more impactful than just drinking excessive water. At the end of the day, if the skin's outermost layer is leaky, meaning it loses excessive amounts of water, it doesn't matter how much you pour in. You've got to change the structure, and that's done when it comes to nutrition by eating good fats, which help allow us to build a nice, robust lipid bilayer, which is really what keeps the integrity of the stratum corneum, the outermost part of the epidermis, intact. Now, things that you can eat are ingredients like avocados, nuts, and oily fish. And if you're not able to get enough from your diet, think about taking a supplement like flaxseed if you're vegetarian, or an oily fish supplement. Now, when it comes to your skincare routine, I think the first place to look to see whether or not you're ready and well prepared is at cleansing. Because if you get cleansing wrong, in winter, it's very hard to get skincare right. So look at what you're doing. Are you using a more elaborate routine like double cleansing? Are you using something that foams? Are you using a cleanser with active ingredients? Now, chances are if you're using one of those 3 things, you are at higher risk of experiencing dry, tight, uncomfortable skin, and a shift towards either a gel cleanser or indeed a cream cleanser if your skin is particularly dry and sensitive, prone to redness, might well be something that your skin will love you for. Another great thing to do is to look at the way your moisturiser is formulated. Now, you may well have oily combination skin, and perhaps in summer we're using something more gel-like, but coming into winter, you want to be thinking about barrier repair ingredients. So things like ceramides and niacinamide and essential fatty acids that basically allow for a healthy, well-functioning outermost part of your skin. So the barrier will be in good shape if you think about integrating these kind of ingredients nice and early. Now, for all those hyaluronic acid users out there, I have some bad news. Now is the time to think about ditching your humectants and switching over to occlusives, or perhaps allowing for a combination of both. But humectants will not have the same effect on your skin as they do in more humid conditions once we get into winter weather where cold air outside doesn't hold moisture and inside we've got the central heating turned up. So think about moving away from hyaluronic acid, maybe even glycerin, to something more nourishing like squalene, shea butter, mineral oil, and even the silicone. So all together, ingredients that basically stop the skin from losing water by reducing what we call transepidermal water loss, much more effective and useful when it comes to the cooler months. Next, we can think about adjusting your actives, and that's again particularly relevant if you're someone who suffers from a condition like rosacea or maybe even perioral dermatitis, where your barrier fragility in some ways is part and parcel of what triggers inflammation. So again, situations where you want to just prevent problems before they happen. So look at things like your retinoid, for example. For lots of people, they have to think about sort of reducing the speed or the aggressiveness with which they use a retinoid on their skin coming into winter. That might be as simple as putting on a buffering layer of moisturiser before you apply your retinoid. It might be about diluting it so it's a little bit less strong. It may even be about shifting percentage. So I've got lots of patients who go from using Tret 0.05 down to 0.025%, even plus or minus over moisturizer in winter, so that their skin stays comfortable and they're not fighting kind of dry patches all the time, having to skip days. So really think proactively about whether or not you should be carrying on at the same level of intensity with your actives. And then the last recommendation I'd make to you is to look back on last year or previous winters. What went wrong there? What happened that you meant to kind of take a mental note of to ensure it didn't happen again. That might be just about using a lower potency retinoid, or it might be about switching up to a more hydrating format of sunscreen so you can keep the habit going but deliver a bit more nourishment to your skin. Or it might be about having a rescue product, a soothing, hydrating mask, a bit like our Flawless Revival mask, that you can just slip in whenever you feel your skin getting into that kind of slightly drier, more sensitive state. So it's just about learning from past mistakes and implementing them ahead of time. So I think it's entirely possible to train your skin barrier for winter. And I found the tips that I've given you today, things that have made a real difference to my skin. I remember one particular winter, February, when everything just went a bit wrong. I was using too potent a retinoid. My skin got very dry, very red, and really uncomfortable. And it took quite a bit of time to repair that barrier at that time. If that happens to you, do go and watch my How to Repair Your Skin Barrier video. It's full of lots of helpful recommendations about products that you can use to get things back on track if it happens. But I think that if you take the advice I've given you today, it really shouldn't be something that bothers you this winter. So if you find that helpful, please do share it with a friend who needs this information today. Hit the bell to subscribe, and I'll be back again